What is the most beneficial change you saw in yourself personally thanks to the Millennium Fellowship experience? Through the Millennium Fellowship, I have thought more intentionally about the unique needs and context of my community when planning voter engagement events on campus. It's easy to stick with the same formula of voter registration drives, community discussions, and mobilizing people to vote. So I tried to change things up and focus on helping students gain firsthand experience in the political process. For example, we hosted our first ever voter simulation in a first year building to help demystify the voting process for first time voters. There, students received a sample ballot as well as nonpartisan voter guides outlining candidates' stances on a wide range of issues. The voting simulation was one of our most well attended events and made students feel more comfortable about voting, having learned more about candidates' platforms and what identification they needed to bring to the polls in order to vote. Moreover, we brought two candidates running for the U.S. House of Representatives to campus so students could interact face to face with their future representatives and learn more about the policymaking process. In the future, I will keep trying to think outside the box for innovative solutions that properly address the unique needs of the community. In the case of Rollins, the best way to engage the most apathetic is to present them with opportunities to learn why their vote matters and the difference it can make. What are the 5 most important skills professionally you developed thanks to the Millennium Fellowship experience? So the first professional skill I'd say I developed is time management, and at times it was difficult to balance this project with classes and other extracurricular commitments. Number 2 would be adaptability. As projects are carried out, it's important to make the necessary adjustments, and many of the events that we ended up hosting for our project were not originally planned, but we added them to meet students' needs as we went along. Number 3, the third and fourth skills I'd say I learned kind of go hand in hand. That's communication and teamwork. And so because of the extensiveness of the project's mission to register, educate, and mobilize student voters on a campus of 3,000 students, I relied heavily on a team of dedicated ambassadors with whom I delegated assignments, and without their efforts, this project would not have been possible. And the fifth and final professional skill I'd say I developed was leadership, and this fellowship taught me to be more intentional in forming reciprocal partnerships, adapting projects to the needs of the community, and working constructively with others, all of which have helped improve my leadership skills. Number 3, describe one challenge in your student group or community project, how you applied something you learned from the Millennium Fellowship to the challenging situation, and how you will approach future challenges in the future as a result. So one thing I learned from the Millennium Fellowship is ensuring that the mission and impact of the organization can sustain itself once those currently in leadership positions leave. The sign of a high-impact project is that it remains successful even when key actors are no longer in the picture, and others are given a chance to demonstrate their potential. And thus, it's important for current project leaders to delegate responsibilities to those who will remain in the community once they leave. So the big challenge we have faced in the past has been ensuring a smooth leadership transition within the organization. And when I became the student ambassador or the student coordinator 2 years ago, I had no guidance and learned only through the firsthand experiences along with the newly hired supervisor. So both of us really didn't know, what was going on and where to pick up where the previous people had left off. So we had to work through it together. And I felt I could have been more effective in my leadership role had I received prior training and a transition document outlining the most important tasks and dates and providing helpful, tips for planning events and whatnot. And so because of my personal experience and what I learned in the mobilizing track during the Millennium Fellowship sessions, and so because of that, I'll be working on a transition plan during my final semester of college. And I intend to create a single document with all the key dates, helpful information, sample emails, and flyers for different events. I also plan to appoint two new coordinators. One will be a senior with extensive experience within the organization, and then the other one will be an underclassman who will kind of serve as an understudy. And hopefully this will ensure more effective leadership transitions in the future so that our organization can function at its highest potential regardless of who's in charge and when. Question number 4. What were your career goals before the Millennium Fellowship experience, and what are your career goals now? Did anything change, and if so, how? So my career goals have remained the same throughout the Millennium Fellowship. Upon completing a Master of Public Affairs, I intend to apply for the U.S. Foreign Service and the UN Young Professionals Program and pursue a career in international civil service to help foster stronger democratic institutions throughout the world. I hope to serve as an international ambassador driven by collective humanitarian ideals that improve the lives of others, and my ultimate goal is to translate my interest in politics, passion for service, and love of travel into a career in international affairs as an ambassador for the U.S. State Department or as a senior level official for the United Nations. And question number 5, for future students, what are the top 5 reasons a student should become a Millennium Fellow? Number 1, I would say you'll get to form close connections with the most engaged people on your campus, and the other fellows will expand your worldview and force you to think about an array of different issues in a completely new light. Number 2, I'd say that you'll gain tangible leadership skills that you can apply in your current positions and beyond. Number 3, you'll become a more impactful change maker. Number 4, you will think more critically about the most pressing problems in our world and develop more meaningful, sustainable solutions to these problems. And number 5, you will have the chance to engage with and learn from international change makers through the different webinar series throughout, the fellowship semester.